Hello everyone, this is Dr. Deepa, working as a professor and head in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science at KIT Kalaignar Karunanidhi Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. In this video, we are going to see about the introduction about the cache memory, types of cache, working of cache, and simple example problems, and also cache replacement algorithms. So first, in this introduction, we'll see about what is cache memory. Already we know that memory which is used to store lot of content for our future purpose to read or write something. So in this one of the thing we are going to see it as a cache memory. So what is cache? It is a small in size and high speed storage component that stores frequently accessed data and instructions. So because of that the CPU can access the faster and it is also an intermediate between the CPU and the main memory. So what is main memory? RAM is nothing but our main memory. So when CPU needs data, it first checks the cache. If the content is found, then there is a hit. The later I'll tell you what is hit and what is miss. So if it is found, it is very fast. Hence, it goes to main memory and which is slower. So why we need cache memory? So there is a big speed gap between CPU and the main memory. If CPU is weighted for every memory access, it would be ideal a lot. So cache helps to reduce that latency. So this is the introduction about cache memory. Next, I'll come for the some few key features of cache memory, that is speed, proximity, and functions. Uh, Next, cache levels. There are three types of cache levels are there. L1, L1 or level 1 cache, which is fastest and small in size, usually per CPU core, might be split into the instruction cache and data cache. Like that, it will be there. The size will be for L1 cache, the size will be 2 KB to 64 KB. Sorry. And in L2 or level 2 cache, it is somewhat larger, slower than L1, possibly shared or per core. The size of this L2 cache is 256 KB to 512 KB. The next one is L3 or level 3 cache. Even it is larger than the previous two and which is slower, often shared among multiple cores. The size it may be 1 MB to 8 MB. So what is the need of having the cache memory? What is the important of having the cache memory? So as I said already, it acts as a bridge between the CPU and your main memory, that is the RAM, to reduce the CPU access time. And it stores frequently used data into its memory so that the CPU no need to go and refer it in the RAM once again. So the main idea is to speed up the CPU's work and improve overall performance of the computer. So the next, I told you previous slide, we are going to talk about hit and miss two terminology. When a CPU needs some required data, that time CPU finds that data whether it is available in the cache memory or not. If it is available in the cache memory, then there is a hit. If the data is found, then there is a hit. Suppose if the data is not found in the cache memory, then there is a miss. So this is the two terminology I told you in the previous slide. Here we need to know very important formula, that is hit ratio. So the hit ratio we are going to calculate based on this formula, that is hit ratio, which is equal to number of cache hits divided by total number of searches. This is the formula which is used to calculate the hit ratio. Here I gave one simple problem. The application program in a computer system with cache uses 1400 instruction acquisition bus from cache memory and 100 from main memory. What is the hit rate? If the cache memory operates with a 0 wait state and the main memory bus cycles use 3 wait states, what is the average number of wait states experienced during the program execution? So we need to calculate hit rate, then average wait state per instruction acquisition. These are the things we need to find it out. So first, in this problem, what they gave, total instructions acquisition cycle, we need to know it. So for catch, 1400 cycles is there, and for main memory 100 cycles are there. So the total instruction acquisition cycle, which is equal to 1400 plus 100, so totally 1500. So what will be the hit rate? So previous slide I told you, hit rate, which is equal to out of total number of searches, what will be the successful hit? So catch hit. So how many catch hit here we are having? 1400. Totally how many searches are there? 1500. So you will get approximately 93.33. So if you know the hit rate, obviously we can calculate the miss rate. So 100 minus 93.33 na 6.67 percentage, that is miss rate. That is optional. If you want, you can calculate it. Next, total wait state experienced by the program, which is equal to catch wait state, that is 0 per cycle, which is given here, 0 per cycle, which is given here, and for main memory 3 wait state, and main memory 3 per main memory cycle. So total wait state which is equal to 1400 into 0 plus 100 into 3, so that is equal to 300 wait states. So the average wait state per instruction acquisition during the program execution, which is equal to total cycle. Among the total cycle, what will be the total wait states? So total cycle is 1500, in which 300 are the wait states. So 0.2 wait states per acquisition. So this is the answer we need to give for this problem. I hope you understand. The next, how the read and write operations are takes place in a cache memory. So for example, this is the cache memory block diagram for execution of cache and read operations. So for example, if I want to have some content, obviously the 12 digit number address bit will be available. In this, the higher order 8 bits of an address are compared with the stored data tag. So for example, I need to have 1001 100 in which I need to know the content. So what happened? Already this content is read by the cache memory. That content is available or in the cache memory or not, we need to check first. If the content is available, then we are going to access the data from the cache memory itself. So in this, the first 8 bits, first we are going to check with the cache tag memory. So the higher order first 8 bits, 1001, then 0001, that we are going to compare. Yes, it is available in the cache tag memory. Then remaining 2 bits are the data locator bit, right? So remaining 2 bits, what is the remaining 2 bits? 10. So 10, that is also there, the data is available. So 5A is the data which is going to get it from the cache location. So this is the way the cache read operations takes place. Similarly, we can know how the catch write operation is going to take place. So after performing the operation, the same address 1001 100 in that content 5A, we need to after the execution, the content has changed as E6, like that it is there. So that we are going to access for some other purpose. So here also the last first hide ordered 8 bits are compared with the cache tag memory. Then the remaining last 2 bits are data selector bit. There we used to get the value E6. Now the data in the cache memory is accessed, and the data in the main memory for the given address is different. So because here 5A, there E6, this causes the cache consistency problem. So this can be avoided by updating the cache memory and the main memory. that will explain in the next slides and all. The next we are going to see about working of cache. So principles of locality, where the cache memory, the given informations, predictions of memory will be in the next access is essential. So here temporal locality, that is the recently accessed items are likely to be accessed, that is the temporal. Spatial locality, items in near recently accessed items are likely to be accessed. So on a memory request, first CPU checks the L1 cache if found hit, else it goes to L2 cache, else then maybe L3, then RAM. So misses cost or more time. That is based on the instructions, that is key metrics, hit ratio, we are going to tell about their performance. If higher hit ratio, then we can say the better performance is that one. The next, the elements of cache design. Cache designs are cache design elements includes cache size, mapping function, replacement algorithm, write policy, block size, and number of caches. So cache size, that already we discussed in L1, L2, L3 cache. So we know about the size of the cache should be small enough so that overall average cost is low. Then mapping functions. That is, we have to use a proper mapping function to relate the main memory blocks and cache memory blocks. So there are direct mapping and associative mapping. Two key mapping functions will be used in that one. Replacement algorithm. So when a new block is brought into the cache, how the old blocks are replaced with the new block content. There are you will have some replacement algorithms. The first one is least recently used LRU, first in first out, least frequently used, and random. Actually, if you are taking most of the books, they will give only three. That is least recently used, first in first out, and least frequently used. So, so I told you how the updations are takes place. That is a write policy or cache updating policy. If two copies of the same data exist at the time, one in cache, another one in memory. If one copy is altered, the other is not altered, then two different set of data, it becomes a problem when we are taking a incorrect data. So to prevent this, the cache system has updating write-through system, buffered write-through system, and write-back policy. By using this policy, the cache memory content are replaced or updated in the main memory also properly. Then block size. It should be an optimum for cache memory system, and number of caches when when on chip cache is inefficient, then secondary cache is used. And here also one simple problem, here we are having, consider a cache consisting of 256 blocks of 16 words each for a total of 4,996, that is 4K words, and assume that the main memory is addressable by 16-bit address and it contains 4K blocks. How many bits are there in each of the tag or block or set, and word fields for the different mapping techniques? So first, what are the points they give here? Cache size is 256 blocks, and block size is 16 words per block. Main memory 16-bit addressable, that is 2 power 16, which is equal to 65,536 words. Memory blocks 4K blocks, that is 4,996 blocks. Then we'll go for the solution. These are the points they gave for this problem. Then we'll go for the solution. Step 1. Break down the memory address. So we'll break down the memory address. The memory address is 16 bits. We divide it based on the cache mapping. So 16 bits we need log to the base 2 of 16, which is equal to 4 bits for word field we are going to take it. So from the given thing, 4 bits we are going to take it for word field. Then second, already told you the mapping, direct mapping, fully associative mapping and set associative mapping, like that we'll have three mapping concepts. So in the direct mapping, the cache has 256 blocks. It means log to the log base 2 of 256, which is equal to 8 bits for block index. So tag field, which is equal to total is 16 minus block field plus word field. So which is equal to 16 minus 8 plus 4, which is equal to 4. Therefore direct mapping, the total 16 bits can be considered as 4 bits for tag, 8 bits for block and another 4 bits for word. Whereas in fully associative cache, the tag and word field alone it is there. So tag is 16 minus 4, which is equal to 12. Then fully associative, tag is 12, block are set as 0, word as 4. This is the way the address can be splitted for mapping. Then set associative. This is up to direct mapping and fully associative mapping. Next will come for set associative mapping. Cache, which is having 256 blocks with a 4-way set associative. It means 256 divided by 4 now 64 sets it will be available. So the set index, which is equal to log 64 to the base 2, which is equal to 6 bits. Word field equal to 4, same as previous one. Tag also remaining bits. So tag bits, which is equal to 16 is total minus set bits is 6 plus word is 4. So there are 6 tag bits are available. So here, since we are mapping a 4-way set associative, so tag is 6 bits, word is 6 bits, and set is 6 bits, and word is 4 bits. So which is represented in this diagram. This is also one more problem. A block set associative cache consists of 64 blocks divided into 4 blocks set. The main memory contains 4096 blocks. Each consists of 128 words of 16 bits length. How many bits are there in main memory? Next, how many bits are there in each of the tag, set and word field? So first we'll find it out how many number of bits in the main memory. For that we'll have a formula, number of blocks into number of words per block into number of bits per word. So 4096 blocks into 128 words and 16 bits per word. So we'll have these many bits. Then number of bits in the word field. There are 128 words in each block. Therefore, to identify each word, 2 power 7 is equal to 128. That is, 7 bits are required. Next is number of T bits in the set field, which is equal to 2 power 4. That is 16. That is 4 bits are required. Number of bits in tag field. The total memory in the memory 4096 into 128. So that many number of words it should be required. So next we'll have cache replacement algorithm. So first we'll have FIFO. Already I told you first in first out. So for example in a queue, whoever comes first, that will be served as first. So the new one it will be entered in the last. That is FIFO order. LRU, least recently used. For example, initially we are having 4, 3, 2, 1, we will have, and newly 5 is entering. We need to check in this 4, 3, 2, 1, which is the one leastly used. For assume that 1 is leastly used, then we are going to replace the 1, then we are going to add the 5 into the memory. This is the least recently used. Next, least frequently used. which is also similar to least recently used, but here we are going to have a count how many number of bits it is there. For example, I will give you one example. The same I will give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it is there. Like previous one will have 4, 3, 2, 1, in which 4 is used 4 times, 3 is used 3 times, 2 is used 2 times, 1 is used only 1 time. In that scenario, among all these things, which is the one is having less count, that is one is used only one time. In that case, we'll replace one with the new existing one. Obviously, random algorithm, randomly it is going to replace the thing, but it is not in the use. So, thank you.